All right, ladies and gentlemen, today on Wake Up to the Vibe, bringing us his inspirational messages, is a man who not only serves his community, he served his country, and he has faced adversity, obstacles, rejection in some ways, right? It doesn't matter if he was joining the military or getting on the police department or driving the big rig. This guy knows what it's like to get no for an answer. And today we're going to talk about life that brings you setbacks. He is the author of the book, Never Take No for an Answer. Never take no for an answer. Please welcome my guest, John, a.k.a. Scott Murata. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, Vibe.
Hey, man. You know, I also, in that introduction, I should have also said, and he is also part of the Vibe Tribe.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I do thank you for that, Scott. I thank you for joining the Vibe. I see you in the room, almost every morning. I see you sharing the videos and liking the comments. I really appreciate your support. And look, it landed you on the show.
Yes, it's very entertaining.
Very entertaining. That's putting it lightly at times, right? So listen, yeah. Let's get right down to this because I'm excited. First of all, I love the title of the book. Never take no for an answer. Right?
Yes.
That's a pretty strong statement.
Yes, I wrote the book mainly for the young adults. When you leave high school, you're going to have people turn you down. And I was able to, when I got those turn downs, I came back and still proceeded those careers over time. And I said that in the book about that. And it's all about, you're going to have setbacks and disappointments. It's bouncing back from those, especially when you get told no.
So were you like that as a kid? I'm just like, let's go way back. Let's talk about life before the book. Did you take no for an answer easily? Or did you constantly retaliate and say, no, I'm getting my way?
I could give you an answer. I think it was over time. It was developed. It wasn't something I probably had in the beginning, because in the beginning I was more shy than anything. But over the years, I was able to bounce back from those setbacks. I'm now retired from law enforcement, about a year, and that's why I decided to write this book, my legacy, to give back. It's all about giving back now that I'm retired. So I want the young adults to know, it's no ain't everything.
So, let me interrupt for 1 second. When you talk about giving back, and it's your legacy, you're giving back, but you already gave to our country. You served in the military, correct?
Yes.
What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Army.
You were in the Army.
Yeah, I was 9.5 years active duty Army, and then I did 14 years with the Navy Reserves as a police officer. So I did 22 years. Wow.
First, let me say thank you so much for your service. And I mean that. We do greatly appreciate.
It's an honor to serve you. It's an honor to serve for you guys.
So you served your country for 9.5 years?
Yes, I was active duty, and then I went to the reserves.
And you went to the reserves, which as a reserves police officer, was that more community based, or were you still flying around protecting our country?
So I still was federal, so I still went international. I went to Iraq for a year. I was deployed.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I am grateful that you are here this morning talking about your book, Never Take No for an Answer. So I have to ask you have children?
Yes, I have 2 girls.
You have 2 girls. Okay, so we're going to talk about the book, and we're going to talk about your experience with taking no for an answer, right?
Yes.
How do you coach your daughters down this road of going out there in the world? I hope I'm not getting too personal.
It's fine. The main thing is persistence and determination. You have to have that, you know. And the biggest thing is that when you do have a setback, and I like to use the term like if a tree is cut down, you're a freshly new tree growing. That's how you bounce back. You can be bigger and stronger than you were before. That gives you that opportunity.
Wow, that's a great perspective.
And the thing is that even if you have to recover from running or anything, you can do that. You know, you take that time.
Do you find yourself sitting down with your daughters a lot and having these conversations? Because how old, can I ask you how old they are?
In their 20s.
In their 20s. Oh my gosh. Like, and this is like, you sit down with them when they're little girls, right? But now it's really time to have this talk, right?
Yes.
And how do they take to this? I mean, are they the type of people who are out there just challenging the world and you're behind them as dad, the coach?
Yes, and that's basically what I'm doing now. And like I said, I give back. I wrote the book. Right now, I'm a swim instructor, giving back to the community for the YMCA. I teach people how to swim, whether you're a child or an adult. I give back there. Also, I volunteer for a Let Me Run program. So I teach lifeguard classes. So I'm doing a lot for the community. When I retire, just you got to keep giving back. So and the same with the girls.
So
always help.
And that's a great quality to instill into others, and it's a great message. We do all need to get into that mindset of giving back, volunteering, and moving the ball forward together in unity, right?
Yes.
But what happens when you if you could give me an example. I read briefly some background before the interview, and it seemed like you faced some, I don't know, is rejection the right word? When you're going into the military, did you face some resistance? Or, I mean, they don't just say, okay, yeah, sure, come on in, we'll take anybody.
Yeah, and I did, because I went in when I was 29. So it was a little bit more difficult because I was around the youth. But they were surprised because I have a very strong physical fitness. So I was able to bounce back and thrive on that to show them that I can do this. And with physical fitness, I was able to pass the PT test and win every PT test I've ever taken in the military, be the best.
You didn't join the military until you were 29?
I joined when I was 29.
Oh my gosh. Who does that? You just wake up one day and say, you know what, I it's time I serve my country. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know that I've ever met anybody to join later on in life.
And if you read the book, it shows how I went through those careers and what I did during those careers. Yes, it was very difficult. I mean, I think even when truck driving, I couldn't get a job as a truck driver. No one would hire me, even if I had my license. But with determination, I was going around place to place saying, hey, I'm here to work. Can I have a job? And I used the yellow pages. And everybody turned me down. But then one trucking company that was a mom and pop truck company, they said, you know what? Go do a road test. I did a road test and they liked it. They said I could drive. And they said, go get your trucking clothes and come back. And you got to take a physical. And I'm like, trucking clothes? What's that? They go, the stuff you're going to sleep with.
They're sending you overnight.
I was like, wow. And I came back and I was driving over the road.
Big rig.
Fuck. I'm like, oh my God. So,
he said he never drove a pickup truck and went straight to the big rig, right? You just like to grab life by the cayunes, right? But let me back up a second, because you said something I thought was interesting. You went through the yellow pages. For the younger audience in the room today, that is a book that sat on your table next to your phone. It didn't say Google on it.
Yes.
All right. So, because you're going after big rig, You had no experience driving a truck, and you decide one day, you know, you're going to drive the big truck, and nobody wants to hire you because you have no experience.
And then even with that, it was so interesting because I got my license, but I never really knew how to back into a dock. That was like, what? And I went to Asheville from Tennessee to pick up a load. I probably went through 5 T-shirts because I sweated so bad trying to back this truck up. Luckily I had some extra T-shirts.
That's hilarious, man. I'm just picturing you like, you know, I need the job. I'll take the job. Yeah, I drive big rig. What do you mean? I got to back this thing up into a dock?
Some guy in a sports car tried to go under my truck. I'm like, oh my God, you got to slow down.
Oh, that's great. So, you know, I have a lot of admiration for people like yourself. I'm going back to the military. I'm trying to picture you joining at 29 and you're up against these 18-year-olds. You know, they're fresh out of high school thinking, yeah, I got this, right? And they're working out. They just got off the football team, right? And then you come in here at 29, you're like, step aside. Because you've always been a guy who's into fitness and health, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't you just run from South Carolina to Washington, D.C. or something on foot?
We did the bicycle. We do the bike ride, and I give back to the fallen police officers and their families by riding our bicycles from Charlotte up to D.C. every year. And one year I actually went out to California and rode from California to D.C. It was 1,300 miles in 14 days.
You rode your bike from California to D.C.?
Yes, for the fallen police officers and their families. It's the memorial ride, L.A. Memorial Ride, or Hollywood Memorial Ride.
No kidding. How many? Wow.
That was challenging.
Actually, 14 days doesn't really sound like a long time. It would have taken me 2.5 years.
Yeah.
No kidding.
We do it every year, but this year was canceled, but that's what we do.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do in a time like this where we're under quarantine and a stay-at-home order? Did you already went to DC like last week or something, wasn't it?
No, I went and did a hiking trip in the woods for across the Foothills Trail. We went hiking.
So that's what you do. You hit the woods.
Yes, go hiking. Yes, and I do my physical fitness here. I'm a physical fitness instructor, so I'm just staying in shape and doing my workouts here, doing the bike rides and running.
So what made you take, you know, I like what you said is that life is full of setbacks. We all have them. We all experience them, right? But what made you sit down and say, all right, you know, you're retired now, you've conquered the military, you get in at 29 and then you give them 9.5 years. That's impressive. Then you become a police officer. Okay. Did you face resistance there? Did you finish the military and they say, look, you're too old?
No, when I left the military, I left the 9 years I did active duty. I left in a hardship discharge and I was a single parent. So I came out with my girls. So I raised them on my own and I went to school to be a police officer when I first got out of active duty. So, and then I ended up going back in so I get my retirement because I gave them 9 years. I want my retirement. So I had to do 20. So I went back in the reservist so I get my retirement.
I'm trying to picture, you know, your daughter's looking at this figure that they call dad, right? He goes in and he serves hard in the military, man. And then he serves hard as a police officer. I mean, they must walk around with such pride. I mean, seriously, I don't even know your daughters. I could just picture that, you know, they feel protected.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even with, when I got out of the military, I started running marathons. I wanted to do triathlons and I didn't know how to swim. I only could do the side stroke. So I read a book, taught myself how to swim so I could do these triathlons where you do swim, bike, run. So I was able to do that, and I worked my way up to the Ironman and did the full 140.
It always amazes me, people like yourself who you have to get into a space mentally to head down that path, right? You don't just wake up one day and join the military. You don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, today I'm going to be a truck driver. Tomorrow I'm going to be a cop. And I think I want to run a triathlon, right? How do you prepare yourself mentally to take on the task of the day when it's at the magnitude that you're running after?
You just got to say, persistence and determination. You got to have that passion to want to do it. And remember, it's just like being a rock star, just like Joe. You got to go out. And when you train, you're on stage like a rock star. You got to give it 110%, 110. So when you're training, when it comes time to do the race, you can do it. And remember, you're going to have thunderstorms, just like setbacks and disappointments. You just got to work through it.
How do you work through it though? You're knocked down. You're on your knees.
It's not going to be daisies and flowers. I had some aches and pains, but you know what? Self-medicate. That's the motto there. You have to self-medicate through all that pain.
What do you mean self-medicate?
Yep. If you take your mind off it, you can take some electrolytes. So if your salt is low, just having stuff like that. If your stomach hurts, have some Rolaids. But whatever it takes to push through it, because at the end you want to finish.
Have you ever been on your knees broken? Like I can't do this anymore. When you were in the military, or you were when you're running when you're riding a bike from California to DC.
Well, we'll say that when I woke up one morning in Special Forces training, I couldn't even walk. The ground hurt my feet so bad I had to keep going. When you can't walk, you still 1 foot forward. That's all you got to do. Remember, put 1 foot in front of the other. Just keep moving. Just keep moving.
It's funny. For those of you who just entered the room, I just want to remind you I'm talking with my guest, the author of the book, Never Take No for an Answer, John, a.k.a. Scott Marotta. And that's because I've known you. We've known each other for a very, very long time. And
you used to have tent parties in your yard.
I'm finding this to be very inspiring because we're at a time right now where some people just are paralyzed. You got the coronavirus, stay at home. It's starting to weigh on everybody, right? They're just wearing down. It's wearing people down. Yeah, what do you do? What do you have to say to these people? How do you keep going? You're saying put 1 foot in front of the other when it hurts, put your feet on the ground.
Yeah, you just got to keep moving forward. You got to do is find things that motivate you. What's your passion? What do you really like to do? And do those things. Like me, it's physical fitness. I got a spin bike inside. I can spin. I run around the block. Whatever it takes, but just find that passion. Just like when I retired, it wasn't the end. I wrote this book, and went to the Y and started teaching people how to swim. It's like never stop. Find your passion.
Who's your audience for this book? Obviously, listen, you're inspiring me right now. I go for my walks, but I bring a camera and sometimes a cigar. So I'm not like sweating and shredding, you know what I mean? Yeah. But who do you hope to reach with this book? It's on Amazon, and we'll talk about that after on how people can get it. But is there a specific audience you're looking for?
It would mainly the young adults. It can be anyone, but mainly the young adults, the ones leaving high school. Just remember, go for what you want. You have to push it. And it's going to be more rewarding if you have setbacks and deployments. If they say no, you can do it as long as you put forward and keep pushing to do it, whatever it takes, but never give up.
Do you think sometimes that's easier said than done, though, especially for a lot of people? Sometimes people just throw the towel in and...
Well, we'll say this. Any dream has to have a plan, or it's going to be a dream. So when you have something that you want, the best thing to do is get a piece of paper out and write on that paper how you're going to get there. Little short-term goals will get you there. And then even pros and cons. Why do you want it? What would make you want it? And get a plan together. Otherwise, it's just going to be a dream.
I like
and that's
that.
The most thing is a plan.
Right? Failure to plan is planning to fail.
Yes.
Right? That's really, I'll tell you what, it's hard to write a book. I tried. I seriously, I'm halfway through. I've got, I don't know, maybe 80 pages, a sales training book, and I just can't seem to get the same passion now that I had in the beginning. It like went away and I have no idea where it went. And I keep saying I'm going to finish that book because I'd love to be an author. So,
and the thing is, you have to write on a piece of paper, where do you want to go? Okay, I want to do this chapter this day, this chapter this day. If you have a plan, instead of saying I'm going to start it someday, write down what you're going to do as far as that. On a piece of paper, say, this is when I'm going to start it. You know, don't be like everybody else. Say, I'm going to start it on Monday. And Monday comes, I'm going to start Monday. No, start now.
You know you're talking to the king of procrastination. I think I need to hang out with you for like a week, maybe a month. Can you come to
procrastinating?
That's a business in itself, is how to destroy procrastination.
Yes.
That could be your next book. That's a good title for a book. So where are you now? Where are you living?
In Fort Mill, South Carolina. It's just below Charlotte.
Fort Mills, South Carolina. You're retired.
Yep.
Any other books?
What's that?
I'm sorry. No, what did you say? There's a little delay going on. So
Charlotte. Yep.
And is there any other books in your future that you can see?
I wrote another story. It's my fishing trip on the Red Sea. It's when I was in the military, I went to Egypt for 6 months, and we went on a deep sea diving ship. We went out and went fishing, deep sea fishing, and we got marooned. So I wrote a story on that, and it's on Amazon also.
You got what?
Marooned. We got stuck in the middle of the Red Sea. And we had to swim through shark-infested water to get to another boat.
Come on.
Yes. So
I don't mean to laugh. I don't even know if that's funny. That's not funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny.
It was pretty good. And, you know, the story starts off, I mean, I was infantry, which was my MOS, and we hung out with the military police, which we call the mud puppies. We had to set back some adversity because we normally don't get along. We were able to set aside our adversities and be able to fish together for a day out in the Red Sea. And then we ended up getting stuck out there.
Wow. And
then we had to swim to another boat. But we all worked through the issue together, and it was really good. It was a really good day trip. It turned into be a night trip, but
yeah, right. But there's a lesson learned right there.
Yes.
Right? Be kind to your rivalries, because you never know when you're going to be swimming in shark-infested waters with them. All right, so here's our graduating seniors this year. Congratulations to everybody in the class of 2020. Talk about a messed up year, right?
Yeah.
Cap and gown, throwing them up in the air with 300 people. It's not going to happen, right? Senior skip day, right? Remember senior skip day? I remember where I was. I think I did senior skip day 3 years in a row. But but these are the things that kids today are not going to experience. And, running around the classroom, getting your yearbook signed. I mean, there's so many things that psychologically we carry with us through life, right?
Oh.
How does a student, we might say, well, it's no big deal with it. 10 years from now, it's not going to make a difference. I don't know if that's true. I think these are, the prom, the senior ball. These are memories that are made for a lifetime that you'll sit around with your friends and talk about 30, 40 years from now. How do you take your inspiration, never take no for an answer, overcome it, deal with it? But where do you start with that?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, like anything, you have to do is you have to accept for what is going on right now, and how you deal with that is what you have control over. You don't have any control over what's going on right now. So just take control of yourself, and how you respond to it is going to be most important. So still go after what college you want to go to, what career you want to go to, still proceed that, irregardless of what's going on. You don't have any control over that. So you can't really ponder about it. There's no sense in it. But you can take time and your effort toward the career you want to do. College, maybe you can save some money. Why go to Yale if you can't actually physically go to school? So just do a community college, do your little classes through there, save money so you're not in debt when you're done with school, since you're not going to have those big colleges that you're going to be able to walk into classrooms with. So just do it that way. Save money, still proceed your career that you want. But there's no sense of, worrying about things you have no control over. Worry about what you do have control over, and that's yourself and how you feel and how you react to this, and move forward.
Very well said. Very well said. And I want to add to that, and how you treat others. That is something that is, we don't, I think at the end of the day, Scott, we don't have a lot of control over a lot of things, even when there's not a pandemic. We just think we do. Yeah. And I think sometimes we get lost in the chaos of not being able to control the things we think we can when you never had control in the first place. Right? Right? It's almost like, stop. And we all do it. I don't know if you do it. You sound like a guy who's in control, man. But that's good advice. Like, just only control what you can control, and that is your mind, your body, right? Your spirit, and how you treat people. Where can we buy this book? I'm excited. I'm getting it. Actually, I want a signed copy. I'll pay you for it.
Absolutely, you can get a signed copy. Right now, it's on Amazon. Both stories are. You can type in on Amazon, "Take no for an answer." Never take no for an answer. And you also, my other book is right there too. And you can put John Marotta after, and you'll be able to see the book on Amazon. And both books are there.
Well, I want to congratulate you. I hope everybody goes to Amazon and buys your book, because I think sometimes people forget, when you sit down with a book, whether it's, paperback or audiobook, whatever the case may be, just getting someone else's perspective can help you change your perspective, right?
Yeah.
Coming from a guy who served his country, serves his community, serves his family, continues to volunteer, focuses in on health, focuses in on body, mind, and spirit, right? And never takes no for an answer. I love it. Hey, man, I want to thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It was good catching up, and I really, I feel great things are coming your way. I think anybody who serves the way that you do and carries themselves through life the way that you do, the future can only shine for you, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, wake up to the vibe. Keep sharing, keep posting.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself.
All right, Scott. We'll talk to you later. The book is called Never Take No for an Answer, and that is the author, John Marotta. You can pick that up, and we will see you later, buddy. Keep it real.
All right, take care. Nice seeing you.
Yes. And you're waking up to the vibe, ladies and gentlemen. I want to shout out a couple good mornings here. And good morning, Bill Agresta. Good morning, Michelle and Tina and Kim. And wow, it looks like you guys...